Okay, this is our bench unit that we're going to use as a demonstration on what you guys need to do to replace your tank. First thing is you need to remove the positive cable from the battery. Assuming you already have the cover off the unit, you need to get some safety glasses and some gloves, some hand protection. Okay, once you guys have that and the positive battery cable is removed from the battery, we're going to go ahead and take this power cable off of the end of the fuse here. Okay, now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and remove the top cover from the unit. There's 4 screws that hold hold the top on, actually 2 on this side and 2 along the back side of the top cover. So we'll take those out first. Okay, then we'll disconnect the hose that's coming out of the back of the box. Just take the clamp off there, take a small screwdriver and pry the clamp open and pull the fitting out of the back here. We'll remove the clamp and the hose that attaches to the small tank, the fill tank there. Okay, next we'll loosen these 2 screws that are on top. They're the Teflon screws that hold the fan in place. And you don't actually have to pull those out. All you have to do is loosen them until the fan is loose from the top, like so. See, we can move this fan around. Okay. Then we'll remove the hose from the fitting at the bottom of the tank. And that takes 2 wrenches. You want to hold the top of the fitting that's in the tank in place while loosening the fitting that's attached to the end of the hose. Then we just lift the top up and pull that piece of hose through the hole and remove the top. Now we're going to take the tank off. Obviously this tank is still good, but yours isn't. So we're going to take the tank off of here and replace the tank and then move on to the next step inside the unit itself. So in order to take the tank off, there's a couple of screws with nuts on the end of them, and all we have to do is hold onto the nut with the wrench and unscrew that screw, and one on each side of the tank itself. Okay, actually, like Pedro did, we just take one side off and leave the strap loose there, and then to get the tank is actually glued to the top. So to break it loose, push down on the top itself, take the cap off and put the tank on a nice clean level surface. After that, we'll scrape the old glue off of the top there. Okay, we got the top all cleaned off now. Pedro used the scraper and a razor blade also to scrape that off of there where it's already scuffed up here. Okay, now we got the new glue on there. Just going to turn it over and place it down on there like that. Got the edge where it's sticking out through the top hole, hanging off the edge of the table, and put the strap on. Put the screw through the hole, put the nut on the inside, and let that dry. Okay, now we got the tank on the top there. We're going to put a small spot of glue on the end of each screw there where the nut is. Make sure it's straight, and that's it. Let it sit to dry. Make sure the cells are drained out all the way, and we'll also drain the tank momentarily, but we want to make sure we get what's inside the cells out. So you have a pumping station there, so you know how that goes. We'll hook the end up to the fitting there on the edge of the cells, the other end in the bucket, and then make sure it's set to drain. This one is on the drain settings. Turn it on and we'll get the rest of whatever's inside the cells out of there. And that's it. There's not a whole lot that came out of the cell. Now we're gonna get the bucket over on this side and unhook the fitting on the left side of the pump, the input fitting. Gonna snap the connector back. Sometimes it's easier to put a screwdriver on there and push it back until it snaps free. Then when you pull that out of there, be careful because there'll probably be a little bit inside the pump. You definitely want to have your gloves on. And then put the hose down into the bucket. Okay, we have some vinegar mix, 50-50 water and vinegar that we usually keep around in a bottle. If any of the solution comes out of the pump, the inlet, when you disconnect it, just spray some vinegar on any metal surfaces that it gets on, so it will neutralize the chemicals. All right, next we're going to move up to the top of the box here, up above the tank, and we are going to disconnect this cable and take it down out of the way. You can just let it hang off the side of the box anywhere over there. Okay, then we're going to disconnect the cable in the back that connects to the PCS. Okay, now with both of those disconnected, we can remove the PCS, and we're doing this because there should be a new PCS in your package to replace this one with. There are screws on the back side there that, let me get around this side here, that Pedro is unscrewing to hold the PCS in. And once we get those unscrewed, the PCS will just come right out of there. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we'll unplug this power supply. Yours, I'm not sure if it has a plug on it or not. If it does not have a plug on it, you can go ahead and pull these particular connectors off. Just pay close attention to which wire you pull off which terminal, and when you reinstall it after we're done, just put the connectors back on the corresponding terminal that you removed them from. There are 3 screws that hold that in. There's the 2 here and 1 to this side. We don't use the bottom one, so some boxes don't even have the hole for it. It would be about there. And once that's out of the way, then we'll go ahead and remove the light, and that's 1 screw that Pedro's undoing there. There's some ground wires attached to it, and those can just float free for the time being. After that screw is out, just pick up the metal bracket that holds the light in place, unplug the wire harness from the light, and you can remove the light. And we'll unplug this this sensor here, and we'll get this blue hose off the end of the tank there. That just loosen that particular clamp there, like you did the other ones with the small screwdriver. And then just pull that whole assembly off of there because it will just reattach on the new tank. Okay, that's out of the way. Now we're going to go to the back of the box here. In this box, there is a shunt attached to the back wall. Yours will not have that shunt there. There'll just be a hole in the back of the box with a 1032 screw in it with all these wires attached to that. Just take that screw out, and you can let the wires just kind of hang free there for the time being. The main reason we're undoing that is so that we can get the ground wire for the pump off of there, and when we remove the pump assembly,